All right, Pete. Gonna get into predictions, but really just predicting what we think makes the big difference in this game. We talked about Malik Willis and the game plan the Packers used. We talked about the Titans and avoiding shooting themselves in the foot, which I've been saying they're not just shooting themselves in the foot. They got a bazooka out and they're just blowing that thing all the way off, man. Like, it's gone. They're losing both their feet so far in these first 2 weeks. But with that being said, I'll get us going here. For me, the big things for the Titans are stop the run. If they stop the run and make Malik Willis beat them, then they're going to be in a good spot. They have to find a way to win the turnover battle. The Titans have lost the turnover battle significantly in the first 2 weeks. The Titans have not forced a turnover on defense yet. You cannot win that way. And then finally, for me, it's no special teams blunders. The Titans can't afford to give the Packers a kick return or a big punt return to help out their offense. They can't afford to have a punt blocked for a third time in a row, which hasn't happened since like the 1930s. All right. They can't afford to make big special teams blunders. And honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of field goals in this game. The Titans can't afford to miss a field goal either. So the Titans have to be the better team on special teams. So stop the run, win the turnover battle, don't blow it on special teams. Those are my 3 keys to victory for the Titans. What are you looking for the Packers side?
I have to just tell you, do you know the number 1 team being bet on the money line this week is in terms of total allocation of dollars?
I got to guess the Packers, right?
Well, okay. So I tricked you. It's the Cleveland Browns over the New York Giants, but second is the Green Bay Packers. 92% of the bets on the money line in this game are on the Packers,
That's
which
not
is
good.
Wild
that's
to
not
me.
Good for the Packers.
No, that's wild to me.
The Titans were the most bet team in week 1, and look how that worked out.
You usually want to fade the public on stuff like this, but I think the reason for this is you're looking at a quarterback that everyone watched in inglorious fashion blow almost single-handedly 2 football games for this team.
Right.
And you see a Packers team that just is coming off a coaching clinic from Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, in a battle of a game where the coach and the quarterback matter so much, which coach is going to put his quarterback in the best position to avoid losing you the football game? And to me, that looks like Matt LaFleur. So how can Matt LaFleur take this to the next level with Malik Willis while avoiding having to put it on his shoulders to go and win? That's key number 1 for me. Key number 2 is get after Will Levis. You have to. There was a game last year, and Packers fans are going to know what I'm talking about before I even mention it. Monday Night Football against Tommy Cutlets. And it's one of the worst offensive lines any of us have ever seen. And the Packers could not generate juice in that game. They showed up acting like they can just half-ass it and win. And it was bad for them. And they let Tommy DeVito drive them on the final drive of the game, go down and beat them. This is the game where you have to show, if you're Jeff Hafley, we're gonna actually pressure Will Levis, which they didn't do against Jalen Hurts, despite the fact that he was brutal against big blitzes last year. And that these guys can win one-on-one against one of the worst pass blocking offensive lines in football. I just had the numbers pulled up here. Nicholas Petit-Frere leads all tackles. He is 61st out of 61 tackles in pressures allowed. Dylan Radins is 54th out of 60 guards in pressures allowed. And Peter Skoronski is 57th out of 60 guards in pressures allowed. This is a game where your pass rush has to win, or I have big questions about, are these players actually as good as we thought they were? Is Kenny Clark playing at the level that he needs to play at, given that he just got a monster extension, that he just had his best ever season sacking the quarterback last year? What's going on there? He's still only like 28 years old, so it's not like he's old and washed. And then the last piece of this is, can you get a playmaker other than the run game to pop? In week 1, It was Jaden Reed. And so can Jason Hirschhorn, my colleague over at The Leap, a newsletter I would love for everyone to subscribe to, wrote about it on Wednesday. I think they're going to build the plane out of Jaden Reed. So is that going to work? And if it doesn't, do you have a plan B? Is there something else you can go to? Matt LaFleur prides himself on the play off of the play. It's not just play 1, it's play 2 when now you're expecting play 1. Can you get to some more traditional play action looks? Can you create some deep shots that isn't just, it's 3rd and 8, F it, Romeo Dobbs down there somewhere kind of things, which is what the one throw that they got that deep down the field. Can you manufacture some of those throws? And can you get someone else other than these running backs to pop for you if you can. I think that you can win. Again, I don't love that the public is so on Green Bay, but I do think they look at the quarterbacks. And that's not going to make me not believe what I think is true on the football field, that this is just a good matchup for Green Bay. And I think that they have a renewed belief. I think they're going to go up. I think they're going to go in. I think they're going to win a close game that I know this for sure, Tyler. One of these fan bases is going to leave this game going, I can't believe we lost that football game. Right. And I think it's going to be the Titans fans, but I would absolutely 100% believe that it's the Packers because of one dumb thing late or one bad throw or one bad penalty. And you're going, I can't believe they blew it. Because frankly, they should have beat the Eagles too. They should be 2-0. And they're not. And so, that's where I am with this game. I don't have a score prediction at the moment, but I don't see a ton of points. The over is also being bet heavily. I don't really see that. I think this is could be one of those 17-14 kind of games.
Honestly, I'm thinking 17-16, even 13-12. I think it's going to be one of those things where, and basically both fan bases think their team's going to pull it out throughout the entire game, and then there's going to be one big critical mistake at the end that somebody makes. And honestly, it's hard not to think that it'll be the Titans after the first 2 weeks. But I think I'm leaning towards the Titans finding a way to pull this out because I think they'll be better against the run than the Colts are, and I would like to see how the Packers perform when they're not running the ball at it. I mean, I wanted to check on this. I don't have the data. I couldn't figure out how to check on it. But when was the last time a team attempted 50-plus rushing attempts? I looked at the top 25 rush attempts, and 25 was 61, and every single instance of it was 1978 or earlier. So, I couldn't get down to 53 to see when the last time that happened, but I think if the Packers try to run the same game plan they had last week against the Titans will be able to find a way to pull one out at the end. But I do still think that Will Levis makes dumb plays, and because the Packers will get that pressure and he'll get frazzled and he'll go Carson Wentz. I kept telling people that Will Levis reminds me of Carson Wentz. This was last year, the way that he moves frantically in the pocket, his footwork being so ridiculous and frantic. That's the best way to put it. His feet are just all over the place. No calm, no poise, none of that. And it's because there's pressure on him all the time. And I think that's even worse in week 3. But again, if the Titans defense can hold down the run game, should be pretty interesting.